Hello, I'm Leila Farahani and welcome to this SPSS statistics tutorial. In this part, I want to review the different type of questions that we may see in various studies and questionnaire and show how we should define them in SPSS by an example. If you are interested in this tutorial series, you can subscribe to this channel to be informed of future videos. Let's get started. I designed this questionnaire for this session. In this questionnaire, there is a quantitative questions, qualitative question including nominal and ordinal, binary and polytomous, multi-response, Likert scale questions, and descriptive text questions has been used. We'll explain all of them. At the top of the questionnaire, as you can see, we write the number assigned to each person. In the data set, we must enter this number as ID. This is useful for the data cleaning process when we have to return to a questionnaire for checking and editing entered data. ID number helps us find each person's questionnaire. Let's do it in SPSS. Next variable is the city people live in. I define it as a string variable. If we run our survey in a limited number of cities, for example, Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan, we can define it as a nominal variable and enter code rather than city's name. But in this case, we have not any limitation on cities and people are from different locations. Then I have to define it as a string and increase the width to write any city with any number of characters. We define age as a quantitative variable. While designing the questionnaire, we can define it in different ways. We can define it as an ordinal variable with the categories. First group under 25, second 25 to 40, third more than 40. But in scale measure, we have more information compared with ordinal. If we know someone's age is 26, we have more information than we know his age is between 25 to 40. Next variable, gender, is a binary nominal variable. In a value, I assign 0 to female and 1 to male. Add and OK. Education is an ordinal with 3 categories: high school or diploma, Bachelor of Science, Master and PhD. Define it in SPSS. In next question, as you see, you can choose more than one option. This kind of questions are multi-response. The way we define them in SPSS is totally different from other questions. For each option, we should define a binary yes or no variable. We should define a binary variable for course, one variable for video, and the same for workshop and textbooks. And we should define a string variable for other. Analysis of multi-response variables are different from variables with just one correct answer. I will explain them in next videos. We define them in SPSS in this way. They are all nominal. We define values. It's preferred to assign 1 to yes and 0 to no. Add and OK. We can copy and paste a value for other variables that have same value. In next session, we have a question that people should respond to it in several consecutive days. There is a similar question in many studies that want to study a process of changes over time, such as marketing studies, management, awareness, and medicine studies. In this survey, we asked, have you watched the SPSS tutorial videos in last 3 days? If so, how many minutes? We should define two variables for each day. One binary variable, yes or no, and second variable is a scale variable. If yes, how long? I define two variables for each day. First variable are nominal, yes or no, and second are a scale. Values are same as before. We can copy and paste them. In next part, we have 5-point Likert scale questions. They don't have yes, no response. They are from strongly disagree to strongly agree, codes 1 to 5. They use for scaling or measuring attitudes. A Likert scale is a question typically range from 3 to 10 points. Questionnaires that use a Likert scale often contain some items which are to be reverse scored. For example, in this questionnaire, question 1 to 4 are positively worded questions, and question 5 is negatively worded question. The way we scoring positively worded question can't use for negatively worded question. In this way, scoring high score for positive questions show high satisfaction. But in negative question, high score shows dissatisfaction. We have to reverse scoring for negative question. For example, 1 to 5 should change to 5 to 1. After data entry, we can do it by recode. I will teach it in next videos. I define the Likert scale in SPSS with Q1 to Q5. Its measure is ordinal. 1. Strongly disagree. 5. Strongly agree. Add and OK. I define values for first one, copy and paste for other. Define ordinal measures for all of them. In the last part, we have a descriptive text question. We have to define a string question and increase width of variable for writing a sentence or a paragraph. Here we have a questionnaire for someone who lived in Shiraz. She is 29 years old, bachelor degree, and so on. I want to enter data for this one as a sample. Go to data view. Her ID number is 1. She lives in Shiraz. And age is 29. For gender, we can enter both writing 0 or choose female label. Choose BS for education. She just marked course. In other, she wrote private tutor. We must enter code 1 for course and 0 for other items. She just watched video in first and third days, and in them she watched 20 and 10 minutes. Then we should enter 1 or yes for these 2 days and 0 or no for second day. Yes, 20, no. Enter nothing. Yes, 10. And Likert scale question, in first one she was agree, then we should enter 4. Next one number 3. And next one number 2. Question 4 enter 5, and last question we enter 1. But because last question is reverse, after data entry we recode it to opposite direction. In last question ask about suggestions. We should write it. After we entered all people data, we should check if they entered correctly and edit the wrong cells. In next video, I teach you how simply check data entry correctness.